Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where it's about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Tower of God, Episode 9. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So first and foremost, we finally figure out what Dorsey's whole situation is, the princess's plan is. And for her, it's like, oh yeah, I got all the fishermen here because there's only like two out of like only a certain number of slots can be filled, so she's trying to remove the competition. And for her, it's also meant to be a way of showing Bomb, like, this is the reality of the tower. Because she talks about her circumstances of she was adopted by a family that, you know, basically had sisters compete against each other, and the worse you did, the worse the food you got. The better you did, the better and more exquisite food you got. So she tasted that stale bread for so long until she finally made sure she never had it. She always got to taste everything, and that was by killing her sisters. Once again, a lot of people in this series have very tragic pasts, and those were her circumstances. So that mentality to kind of do whatever it takes to get what you want, it's been instilled in her. It's the sad realities of this tower, the way it operates, the way it pits people against each other. It's kill or be killed. And once again, it's not just Serena that had that. It's not just Ho that has that mentality. Like, everyone in this tower has that mentality to look out for themselves. And so for her, it's like, right, if you want Rachel to reach the top, you can't be so naive to think like she's going to have to do stuff like that, and you are too. Like, if you're going to have to learn how to betray people. And so one of the fishermen fights back, and Bomb defends and Dorsey B being like, I know, I'm not so ignorant that I realize that's not the case, but he's like, for whatever it takes, I'll protect her. It's like, why? Like, you know, why were you going so far for her? He's like, I don't care if she'll hate me or despise me or whatever the case may be. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her, you know? Because, like, because in Dorsey's mind, it's like, these people are weak, but even Bomb's like, but you know what it's like to be weak and wanting to be strong. Like, how can you look down on others, you know? But because she was in that position, like, I don't remember what that stale bread tastes like, and I'm never going back to knowing what that tastes like. At the same time, Ho makes his move where he ends up kidnapping Rachel, because it's like, if he can, because he was told in the letter that, like, if he can remove Rachel from the situation, he'd be able to, if he can remove Rachel from the situation, then Bomb will drop out, and that, right, like someone powerful and talented like you, no, I'll be able to do my thing, like, if you weren't around, you know? And so Bomb plans to, you know, he couldn't get in contact with Rachel, so he tracks her down. But the ranker, you know, Quant shows up, and he's like, oh, that bastard, what he told me came true. Ho thinks that she got manipulated. It's like, he thinks he got manipulated because he's like, wait, was I betrayed? I don't remember if that's the circumstances. The person who sent the letter, I don't think they also ratted him out. I believe it was either Kuhn or Lauro that brought it, because both of them have been, there's at least 3 people in total that have been picking up. Well, I think 4 people, because I think in Darcy, she was picking up on this whole thing too, because even she was like, yeah, she did, even she kind of expected things to kind of turn out this way. So Kuhn, Lauro, the redhead, because she's been watching this situation unfold. So her and like those 4 had an idea. So I'm thinking it was Kuhn or Lauro that told him last episode what was going to happen. Kuhn is a strategist enough to know how things will play out. But I don't, like I said, and none of them are the ones who sent the letter. The person, once again, not wanting to spoil it, I'm trying to remember the person who sent the letter. I don't think they let Quant know. I think because, I don't know I think Quant's only been in the testing area the entire time, so I think he's only had an interaction with Kuhn and Lauro last episode. So I think it was, I want to say it's Kuhn, but it could have been Lauro that pointed it out about what was going on, which I do love that the entire time Kuhn is like laying with his head down, and Shibisi's like, oh, you're pulling a Lauro here, but you know, it's just, I think it was also just kind of he's like, I think he's kind of almost like praying and hoping things turn out the way he hopes they do, probably almost hoping like, right, hopefully things don't turn out the way I think they will. He probably didn't want anyone to see his face, as he's worried about how things will play out. He probably doesn't want to give away his poker face about like what's going on here. The sad, you know, situation, especially for Bomb, it's like, wait, you I thought we were friends, but for Ho, it's like, no, it was just a piece of paper. It's because of people like you. He talks about the fact is of like, he couldn't protect the people. Like, we get more insight into it. Like, despite everything, he wasn't strong enough to protect the people he cares about. So he's telling Bomb, it's like, right, if you want to protect Rachel, then like, defeat that Rancor. You're so powerful, do it. And so Bomb's trying, but Quant like puts Shinsu inside of his body, and it's like, right, immobilizes him. And it's like, right, I'm gonna go ahead to the end. Like, you know, you want to stop him, you kind of learn something like copies a Rancor's ability like this. You'll be able to kind of. I was like, I'll kind of deal with it once I've kind of dealt with the whole tag situation. But in that instant, like, Rachel struggles and Ho stabs her, not wanting to do that by accident. But as Bomb runs by, he uses the power. He quickly copied it and like used it against Ho, which even Quant's like, wait, he just copied a Rancor's ability just like that. Seeing it once, matter of seconds, was able to do that, you know? But, you know, it is a sad reality of this tower. It's like, right, for him, it's like, I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't even want to kill her. I just wanted to remove you from the world. Because at the end of the day, you know, I wasn't strong enough to protect the people I care about. And he feels like a failure. And it's like, now I can't even climb the tower because of people like you. I'm not good enough to climb the tower, you know. And it's like, what's the point of living? Because once again, a lot of people have nothing to go back to when it comes to the tower. So if I fail now, I have nothing to return to. So Ho stabs himself. It's the tragic nature of just the way this tower was built. And it's sad that things played out that way. Especially the last words out of his mouth were, I hate you, Bomb, I hate you. You know, and it's just like, Quant couldn't move fast. And I think because, you know, probably expended a lot of his Shinsu. So he probably couldn't move fast enough to do anything in that moment. None of them could. And obviously even Rachel being like, why'd you come? I told you not to come after me, you know? And then Dorsey shows up being like, I can't believe things ended up this way. But Serena comes over and slaps her because it's like, right, like, where'd you get, like, that ignition weapon? She was like, yeah, I got it from him. And she kind of explains her reasoning for doing what she's doing. She's like, I actually understand where you're coming from, Bomb. You want to make sure there's someone you want to climb the tower with. There's someone I found that I want to climb the tower with, too. That being Anak. It's like, we don't even like each other, but I'm willing to knock other people out of the way so that I can make sure that she doesn't, you know, end up dropping out. You know, and at the same time, it's like, she beats you and the other member of her team are like helping her put her hair up, and she's kind of actually enjoying it. Seeing kind of that cute side of her is kind of like something you don't get to see out that often. But and Dorsey's like, that's my way of climbing, but that you have to find, if you don't like it, you're going to have to find your own way of doing things. So, and the entire time everything's going down, Serena's talking to Ho about, oh yeah, once again, I didn't remember that whole shtick about Silent Man, because I love the entire time Rock's like, wait, Silent Man, where'd you go? What's going on? Once again, like I said, I wasn't trying to spoil anything like, oh, he dies or something. Like, I just didn't remember his circumstances. So whatever it is, he's connected to Rachel. Like, I think he was, this could be kind of a spoiler. It could be, if I'm remembering, because this could be complete BS. I might be confusing for something. I think he was given to her. Like, it was almost like a boon of strength of like, right, you're not kind of strong on your own, but here, take this. He'll kind of act as your guardian. He'll be your strength. Well, now that she's like on the verge of life and death, like it ended up dying. I guess maybe to make sure that she survived, the Silent Man dies just to make sure she survives. I don't know. Or maybe it's a one-time thing. Like once she's almost crossed over into death, like he automatically dies, but they're able to kind of potentially bring her back. So maybe, I don't think he comes back from my recollection. I think he's gone forever, but we just, once again, don't know his circumstances. But, oh, because there's a lot of other elements I didn't account for either. Like, I didn't talk about. Like, for one, Hot's going toe-to-toe with Quant. You know, for him, it's like, right, I have, like, this grip of mine has been able to hold on to, like, swords. It's been trained to hold on to swords. So once it grabs on, and he's talking like, all right, spear revolutionary, go. And then they bailed on him. And they're like, yeah, there's no way Hots is actually going to be able to hold down a Rancor. But Quant, obviously he took care of Hots. Obviously he's like in a very pissed off mood. But what pissed him off even more was those two. It's like, because it's like, you're unbelievable. Unbelievably smart. It's like, oh, you bastard. Because I remember them being scummy, especially Green Dude. He's super scummy. And in that moment, Quant put them down because it's like he traded. It's like, yeah, they immediately got their just dessert for what they did. But regardless, I love Endorsee's whole situation, but despite everything, Bomb ends up ending this match as quickly as possible, because the sooner it ends, the sooner they can get Michelle White, or rather Rachel, some help. So he's still using the techniques that he's like, damn it, he's mastered it already. So they're going toe to toe. And I love that she had shown him the badge earlier, and he grabs it, and then like Endorsey kind of accepting defeat, kind of leans on him, and he's like, "Oh, you've fallen for me. A princess has fallen for me." Huh? And she's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do with those red panties of mine?" And he's like, "Wait, what?" And bam, she took his badge, and it's over, which pisses him off even more, like, because it's embarrassing, and just like, you use your own panties as a distraction like that. I fell for it. I'm a ranker. I'm an embarrassment. So, but I think what's a key thing to notice too is when this all played out, Ha Sung-yu left the room, and I was like, and even Leroy was kind of looking at him like, now you decide to kind of leave the room and everything. Like, once again, always remember, never forget, I've said it before, Ha Sung-yu is a conniving bastard. Much like Haedon, like, he doesn't have that toothy smile Haedon doesn't hide those shark-like teeth that Ha Sung-yu has as well. It's like, oh, he's such a conniving bastard. As the series progresses, you'll get why I feel like that more and more and more. I don't know if they can do anything for Hope, to my recollection. I think he is dead. It is too late. But that was another thing too, of like Serena talking to him about, like, she's never actually fought with everything. Like, fought for her life with her life. When it came to something, and even saying like she does, like, there's the people that have taken everything away from us, and when we try to once we want to like stand up and fight, they kind of like. I'm paraphrasing here because I'm not going to get the exact wording right, but it was almost like when we had so much, like, when we kind of have nothing and we want to take a little bit back from those who have everything, they take from us, and for her, she's never fought with like her entire, like her life dependent, like with everything, or every fiber of her being. And she talks about, I wonder what would happen if I did. Maybe I wouldn't have this hollow, empty feeling inside of my chest if I had fought with, like, everything. If I fought with all my life. And she even saying, like, what kind of man you could have been, like, if you things could have been different, But once again, it's just the nature of this tower and what it makes people become. The desperate situations that so many, once again, like, everyone has their desperate situations that led them to wanting to climb this tower. So this is where things kind of end. Obviously, the results will be cited next episode, but we are entering what I think is like the next challenge. I think I saw ahead. It's going to be like a 3-parter. So I think these final 3 episodes are going to be at the 4 episodes, because episode 10. I think, like, at the very least, I think the last 3 episodes are like a 3-parter, if I'm not mistaken. It's like the whole final challenge. I think 10 might be the setup for it, but, like, I think it's just going to be like an in-between break episode, I believe. But it's going to be interesting to see, what's going to be aftermath of this test. See how ultimately everything ended up playing out. Interested to see, the results, even though I have an idea of how things played out. Played out. But regardless, we'll see how everything goes in the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.